2 years ago, Newcastle had to fill their third-choice goalkeeper in the final. Martin Dubravka was ineligible and Nick Pope suspended. Today it's Pope who has got the nod over Dubravka. One club used to success in the modern game, the other desperately yearning for it. Newcastle have got everything else: tradition, identity, pride. They just want a trophy, the trophy that right now belongs to Liverpool. Rob Green alongside me has played here both in major finals and indeed in England internationals. It is special.
It's a special occasion, and it can lift you or it can crush you. Everything is perfect. The stadium, the setting, the pitch, the changing rooms, it is all laid out for a spectacle, a performance, and it's whether that weight of expectation of performances grows you or makes you shrink. For me, I felt the biggest I could be on this pitch right now, and everybody on that pitch will feel the same.
Rob was the player of the match in one of those finals. The first major prize of the English football season is heading north of here, either to Liverpool or Newcastle. We've all had the history lesson now. Newcastle United trying to win a major trophy for the first time since 1969. Liverpool bidding to win a major for the 40th time since 1969. And Rob, when you put it like that...
It's a big ask for Newcastle, one of expectation and one against hope. But for Newcastle, you know, the disappointment that Liverpool had in the week, saying, well, can we take the momentum from our one win against West Ham and use that? They're going as strong as they can really be. Newcastle setting up in pretty much a 4-4-2. Off the ball now, Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side, Isak up front with him. From there, you're looking at Harvey Barnes against Jarell Quansah. That will be one of the key matchups, in one of the weaknesses of Liverpool's team, if there are any. For Liverpool, as you were, as pretty much as they could, as strong as they could be. Mo Salah on that right-hand side against Livramento, a right-back playing at left-back. One of their opportunities down the right-hand side.
And just to complete the stat attack on Newcastle, they have not won any of their last 17 games against Liverpool. They lost 2-0 at Liverpool just 3 weeks ago. Kieran Trippier with the free kick high towards the head of Joe Linton. Tonali trying to keep the attack alive. Bosley trying to break it up. Jacob Murphy, born in Wembley. Born to a Gateshead family, Gateshead on the doorstep of Newcastle upon Tyne, so this has always been his favourite club. But he was born a long goal kick from here.
Just looking at Joe Linton in midfield, getting up very high for Newcastle.
Jacob Murphy stealing a march and trying to feed him. Van Dijk did very well with the header. McAllister completed the clearance, and Szoboszlai can now try to counter. Here is Jarell Quansah, filling in at right back really for Trent Alexander-Arnold, but he played the last 50 minutes there against PSG on Tuesday. Luis Diaz held up well by the Newcastle right back, Kieran Trippier. And Quansah actually played at right back at Newcastle in the English Premier League back in December against Anthony Gordon, and he played the last 15 minutes of that league game 3 weeks ago at right back against Harvey Barnes, and that's the matchup on that far side today.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see what Quansah does, because you're looking at him and he's very much a centre-back and filling in a role there. And you just say, well, perhaps today, the size of the pitch of Wembley, give Mo Salah that space. If it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, say get involved, use your qualities for him. Allow Mo Salah to do your thing. I think for Newcastle, they want to keep it as tight as possible. They don't want to be broken on. For them, getting up in support.
Murphy, though, in towards Barnes, who managed to reach it ahead of Quansah, but out of stretch, couldn't direct it goalwards.
You're looking at that midfield, the players who can get in. Tonali's one. Harvey Barnes is obviously already up there. But the engine that they have in midfield is a real weapon for them for Newcastle. It does leave them vulnerable at the back. When they go, they all decide to go. They'll chop and change. Joel Linton's now sitting in. They've got to get that communication spot on as to who's sitting.
Liverpool are the cup holders. They've won this competition twice in the last 3 years, 10 times in all, 2 more than any other club. Those last 2 successes have come courtesy of just 1 goal. Virgil van Dijk's late extra time winner against Chelsea last year. Just 4 goals in the last 4 finals. 4 goals in 7 hours of football. Not much of a salesman, am I? It's been a bright start. Tino Livramento carrying the fight from left back and being tripped by Alexis McAllister. The man in the middle is John Brooks.
Well, they started on the front foot, Newcastle. They've really gone at Liverpool, gone with long balls and driving runs like that. They've committed bodies forward, and you're thinking, a couple of weeks ago they played each other in the Premier League and didn't really lay a glove in the whole 90 minutes, and it feels like it's a very different attitude, one of really taking the game by the scruff of the neck.
There's a silver trophy gleaming in the North London sunshine to be won, and so a different emphasis, different scenario to this game. Taken short to Barnes, Tonali, Barnes, Liverpool undone. Barnes' cross was dangerous but smuggled away, but Liverpool were caught unawares. It was smart, that, from Newcastle.
Yeah, really good movement in the box, and that took everyone's attention away from the short free kick. And they say if you're going to do a free kick, a clever one, do it, make it the first one, because everyone remembers it, everyone's on point. They certainly were there for Newcastle. Really bright start.
Kieran Trippier will take. Down then, the tallest man in the penalty area running towards the near post. Kelleher managed to get a fist on the ball, and McAllister a boot on the ball. Header is by Szoboszlai. This is Luis Diaz, early towards Mohamed Salah, but Nick Pope is in control of the situation. Andy Robertson, who's looking to run Tonali, who doesn't want to run with him. Trippier came across, and in the collision, Liverpool win a free kick.
Trippier's pleading his innocence. I think he's saying it wasn't me and it wasn't him, it was Tonali. As you're saying, Clive, chasing back, pulling the shoulder, and a little push there into Trippier. I think that's why John Brooks has given it rather than the tackle from Trippier.
Newcastle lost the 2023 final here. They were a match for Manchester United for much of that game. Conceded a couple of goals in 6 minutes midway through the first half. Just couldn't quite find a response. First goal that day was a header to a free kick. Second took a huge deflection. They don't want to come away from here with yet another hard luck story. What have Liverpool got up their sleeves from this free kick? It's McAllister. And that needs a little bit more work, that one. Contra alert to the raiding Livramento.
I wondered how Newcastle were going to attack this, and it's been a feel around the city. We're talking about that 2 years ago, as you say, Clive, was one of just real celebration that we're in a final. Now, yes, they haven't won for a long time, but they're here for business. They want to do the business.
Here's the man who wants to lift the trophy. Bruno Guimaraes, the captain. Joe Linton. Away by Van Dijk. Luis Diaz. McAllister. Gravenberch. It's early for Salah. It's asked an awful lot of Mohamed Salah. A little bit too much.
Just wondering whether Liverpool have just get the foot on the ball for the first time in the game. We're nearly 10 minutes in. Get a few touches in midfield. That's where they've had the strength. But no, Gravenberch goes for the ball.
Salah missed last year's final through injury. He went off injured in an FA Cup final here 3 years ago with barely half an hour played. Hasn't really happened for him in his English career here at Wembley Stadium. Just the one goal, and that was in an English Premier League game played here when Tottenham Hotspur were briefly resident, and in a 4-1 defeat. Mohamed Salah looking for some happy Wembley memories. The tears at the end of Tuesday's game were maybe a little ominous. Remember, Van Dijk here, Salah and Alexander-Arnold are still to commit their futures to Liverpool. Kanate swept forward towards Salah. Marshalled by Byrne at the expense of a goal kick.
That's where Salah wants to be. He's almost playing as a forward, but just on his own wide right.
The agonising aspect of that 17-game run without a win over Liverpool is that Newcastle have actually held the lead in 6 of the last 12 of those matches. They led Liverpool twice at Newcastle in December but couldn't beat them. It has been a bit of a sticking point, but they would love to strike first here this afternoon. Very high Liverpool line for the free kick. It's left some space here for Cher. It was Fabian Cher who scored a last-minute equaliser in the last meeting up on Tyneside. And wonderful 3-3 draw. McAllister is the man down and looking rather bemused.
There's Dan Byrne in the middle of the pitch who's just blocked him off, and there's not a lot in it, but from experience, you don't want to be bumping into Dan Byrne.
No, pick on somebody your own size. 5'8", plays 6'7".
Not far off him, but he still managed to get the better of me.
Gravenberch. Jota hasn't been able to get into the game as yet. It's been the story of the last few weeks, really, for Diogo Jota.
Just talk of starting Nunez. Even after that penalty miss in the week, and you're just feeling against the likes of Dan Byrne, there's a battle up there for him. Jota's not that type of player. You might expect him to drift around.
Jota was looking for a free kick there, but nothing's happening.
I think when he drops off and creates the space for other players, for Szoboszlai to run on beyond, that's when he's at his best. But the minute, confidence of just holding the ball up seems to be short of him.
This is Liverpool's 47th game of the season. That's already 9 more than Newcastle. They played 5 more than Newcastle since the turn of the year. Extra time and penalties at the end of their most intense game of the season on Tuesday, plus the draining disappointment of defeat. The longer this goes, maybe the more that Newcastle will believe. There is a question mark as to how much there is left in the Liverpool tank.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw in the week, didn't we? Just looking at the penalty takers by the end, they were nowhere near their first choice, but the players who you wanted on the pitch had long gone because they were so tired.
Guimaraes. It's threaded through and Barnes was free if Van Dijk had not intervened. Murphy. Tonali. Physically held by Szoboszlai. Referee not interested.
Yeah, it's a foul. Thought he was playing advantage there, but Tonali did really well with the run and the turn.
Luis Diaz. He's taken up a good position here and has Concert running beyond him. Now Salah, isolated with Livramento momentarily. Deflection is kind. Gimrice's touch is heavy, won by Gravenberch. There is an offside flag against Schotter, who came from deep to try to intervene.
They're doing well, the Newcastle back line, because they have a real tendency to, when they are broken in midfield, they all drop back en masse and just keep on dropping and end up being very passive. So far, they've stepped in at the right times, blocked off Mo Salah at the right times, and Luis Diaz at times on the wings.
Joelinton just come back into the team after injury the last couple of games. It's a very competitive beast in the midfield. Course's challenge was hefty, but this is Murphy. That's a little wild.
He's got history of scoring. A scream up. This is Gerald Concert for his tackle. Sturdy, robust, if nothing else.
He's been both of those players have been named in the first England international squad for the new coach, who's Thomas Tuchel. The squad was named on Friday, and Dan Burn, who headed the ball, is called into that squad, his first international involvement, just a couple of months short of his 33rd birthday. Murphy wayward. McAllister to Gravenberch. Contra is on the way.
This is more of the rhythm I was expecting Liverpool to take. See how many players they've got sat around and behind the ball. It is pretty much the back four just holding the line and saying, we're going to stay behind the ball, really drifting too far forwards.
Salah. Because of the energies exerted in midweek, it's maybe in their interest just to try to control the game a little bit more.
Absolutely. Having the ball for 3-4 minutes and just shifting it around, and have to blow a team away in the first half of a final. It's a long, drawn-out affair, no matter if it is only 90 minutes.
Van Dijk. Luis Diaz. McAllister. It's been a very studied build-up, but broken up in no-nonsense fashion by Joelinton. McAllister did just catch him there.
It's unfortunate for Newcastle. It's a strong tackle from Joelinton. He did really well. Actually, Harvey Barnes was away on the left-hand side. Gerald Concert wasn't staying with him. It's just that intervention that stopped it, because Newcastle could have been away.
Strangely, of those record 10 Liverpool League Cup triumphs, only 2 have been won in 90 minutes. And they needed extra time last year, extra time and penalties 3 years ago. Don't make too many plans for later. Joelinton, Livramento, Tonali, Joelinton, safely pouched by Queven Kelleher. Gets Jota on his way. looks as if Liverpool are intent on trying to draw the Newcastle sting here.
Yeah. Draw the sting and draw Newcastle out of it. The back line is holding a high line for Newcastle, but it's not committing. Cher now, you can see him step into midfield on the left-hand side of your screen. It leaves a huge hole at the back.
1 against 1 here, Trippier and Luis Diaz, but the Newcastle right back in charge of the situation.
And that's the hole Liverpool want to hit. That's the one they're waiting for. It's either Dan Burn or Cher that steps out into midfield. They're attracted to the man, they can't help it.
Cher trying to get Isak in behind. Van Dijk in control of the situation. Robertson. He's only got one gear. Luis Diaz. To Salah. Szoboszlai's broken beyond him. Dominic Szoboszlai early in towards Shota, who didn't really read that.
Just on his heels, wasn't he? Dan Burn had gone all the way over, so the space was there at the near post. He was screaming out to be ran into. Shota just sleeping a little.
Played 75 minutes against PSG on Tuesday. He hasn't played 90 for 5 weeks. Diego Jota has been subbed in his last 5 starts. I think that's more a reflection of his general fitness levels than certainly his ability levels. Guimaraes trying to protect that well from Gravenberg and wins a pretty cheap corner kick for Newcastle.
That's where Newcastle want to attack. They've got so many players in that area who can go from midfield and just spring forward. Guimaraes has got the vision, he's got the ability to find them runners.
He's got a little bit more freedom now that Tonali's playing in a more central role for Newcastle. It was a bit of a challenge for Eddie Howe to find the right balance with those 2 midfield talents for the first part of their careers at the club. Isak offering himself short. It was a foul on Jota. He knew that he'd actually sold Murphy short and that he had to intervene, and that didn't work out at all.
Not a fan of short corners, and case in point there.
You may not be familiar with Anthony Parkland, but he and Hampton Deck, there is Declan. Television royalty in the UK. Alan Shearer, once a fine England centre forward, he was a big Newcastle fan, born in the city. Hampton Deck big in America, Rob? I'm not sure. They're not big anywhere, actually. They're both about 5'6".
They're not the Clive and Rob show, that's for sure.
They're friends of mine, I can say. Shota. This wouldn't fall for him. Burn got his head to the ball and Trippier neat and tidy. Newcastle's form this season has been a bit like the I-95, stop-start. They get a little road in front of them and then they seem to hit the brakes. They've lost 5 times in the last couple of months, 10 all season, but they won 9 in a row either side of Christmas. Eddie Howe's never quite sure what he's going to get from them. Quansah stepping into space. Bold run with a rather timid pass at the end of it. His header's a little loose. Isak back to Barnes. Harvey Barnes and Alexander Isak just driven a little wider than he wanted to be, but he's found a way out to Tonali. Sandro Tonali. It was a flashing shot which Keller had covered.
Oh, the manager applauds. It's a good strike, but Number one, and this was the opportunity. It's just a little bit too strong for Isak. Isak's confident enough to go with both feet, even from that tighter angle. From there, you thought Liverpool had got it covered in numbers. Never danger in the goal. But a break for Newcastle that shows the threat that they have got, the pace that they have got.
Interesting that Dan Burn is coming out to take charge of the situation when the ball's played up to Salah.
It's very aggressive. Burn off the ball, he's very much front foot. It's that ball back and then behind him is what Liverpool want.
He played out left back in the final here 2 years ago. Can't have a 6 feet 7 inch left back, I'm sorry. Headed by Cher is a good one, as indeed is Trippier's. Guimaraes. Murphy looks over his shoulder, there's no flag here. Jacob Murphy. Konate had to deal with that because Alexander Isak was next in the line for the cross.
Again, a threat. Oh, the world looked offside. Looking tight. Again, that front three from Newcastle certainly can worry Liverpool. It's just getting all three together, close enough proximity to really threaten. He had 2 moments before with Isak and Barnes. Now Murphy on his own.
Kieran Trippier with the corner for Newcastle. Towards the head of Dan Burn. Here's an opportunity for Guimaraes, and a very courageous save, and a very effective one from Caoimhin Kelleher.
It was really well worked. 2 bodies at the far post, one to block, one to head from there. Really good anticipation, good use of the body from Caoimhin Kelleher.
Robertson slipped past to Jota. Luis Diaz. Alexis McAllister. Headed by Livramento. Salah waiting behind him. Again, this watchful approach from Liverpool in possession. Just trying to play this final on their terms, their pace, the ball at their feet. Konsa's made a mistake here. Konate has to recover and does. McAllister running down a blind alley.
That's what Newcastle are waiting for. Obviously get the threat of Mo Salah, limiting him by staying narrow, staying deep, because they know they've got that threat to go again, to go from deep. Newcastle, they can do that, they can hurt Liverpool.
Salah has tortured Newcastle down the years, 10 goals in 14 starts against them. It's a one-club city, proud city. Everybody on Tyneside is a Newcastle United fan. Diaz outnumbered, but wins a free kick.
It's twice his appeal now that he's been innocent. First time I thought he had a case, that one, no such case.
It's been on the fringes really for Newcastle this season, Kieran Trippier, but he's got a heavyweight CV. Played against Liverpool in a Champions League final 6 years ago, played more than 50 games here, including a European Championship final for his country. But he's 34 now, Trippier, and he wouldn't be playing today were it not for an injury to another young England international, Lewis Hall. He's missing through injury. Sven Botman is missing through injury. Anthony Gordon is missing through suspension. Robertson, headed by Cher. happy to wait for the corner.
It's a real threat for Liverpool now, an opportunity. Newcastle over recent weeks have had a real problem defending near post corners, a flick on, a touch. Actually, even just getting anything away. Something that I was frustrated with.
Liverpool won last year's final from an in-swinging corner from their left back. Then it was Tsimikas, now it's Robertson. Header is by Joe Linton. Sentry on guard duty at the near post. It's a throw-in. On his heels that time, well seen by Livramento. A bit of space for Murphy, but I'm not sure if Van Dijk doesn't get a script given to him beforehand. That's a lovely ball from Robertson, goalkeeper committed and just about got there ahead of Luis Diaz. The flag is up, and that was a rush of blood. Now, Nick Pope missed the final 2 years ago because of suspension. Why? Because he was shown a red card the week before against Liverpool, rushing from his penalty area and handling the ball.
Yeah, that was Mo Salah. This was Luis Diaz, and it was more by luck than judgment. Diaz had got there first, and Nick Pope's brilliant at many things in goal. Tackling, I'm not so sure.
Well, he's played 4 times in the last 5 weeks. Stephen Kelleher at the other end hasn't played at all in the last 5 weeks. Pope had a spell out with a knee injury. Kelleher has been understudy to Alisson for much of the season. Tonali wanted to let that run, Tonali wouldn't let him. Corner kick.
Brilliant endeavour. Newcastle player just keeps on going and going and going and driving, determination.
But all that training you do as a goalkeeper, it's your judgment which is tested on match day, yeah?
On balls like that, balls over the top, crosses, things that you can't train. You can practice the shots, you can practice kicking and dealing with distribution. But those judgment, mate, as you say, Clive, can't replicate it.
Trippier with the corner. Liverpool have dealt with these pretty well so far. Tonali, Trippier again. Kelleher has come for this, and his presence was enough to put off Dan Burn, who was unable to connect with the ball.
It's a case in point there. Like him and Kelleher, you drawn to the ball, you think, oh, it's a slow ball to the far post. To be aware who's around you, Dan Burn's around you. You might think twice because of the size of him.
I mean, Kelleher's selection is fascinating, really, but he has been the hero of the 2 final victories that Liverpool have had in the last 3 years. Hasn't conceded a goal in either. Actually scored a goal in one of them. Scored the 11th and final penalty back in 2022 in the shootout. Diaz was caught late there, and the referee is just going to have a word to try to calm things down.
Yeah, it's Kieran Trippier again, and he's had a few in this first half, and I think he's just saying any more, you'll be in trouble, you get a yellow card. Yes, he's one of the more experienced players, he's played here so many times for club and country, but a right back on a booking, it's a dangerous proposition for Newcastle.
It's dangerous. As many of his appearances this season have been from the bench as from the start, Trippier, so he's another one who's maybe working through the gears. First time at Wembley for Arne Slot, not even watched a game here from the grandstands, but he's taken every other first in his measured strides so far. I didn't see a lot of Eddie Howe when the two clubs met at Anfield 3 weeks ago because he was serving a touchline ban for sharing his opinions with the referee. Back on the touchline beat this week. Barnes. Memento is overlapping. Barnes has found a good cross with his left foot, and Isak's there with the header. Hit Robertson, Trippier, and that hit Robertson too. Interesting because Newcastle have actually got two right footers on that left-hand side, Barnes and Livramento. And maybe Liverpool didn't expect Barnes to trust his left foot there.
Yeah, and he can do that. He's got the ability, and they've lost Isak beyond the far post. He just drifted wide of everybody. It's difficult because you've got the goalkeeper in front of you, you've got the defender blocking off a lot of the goal. It's a difficult chance for Isak.
Trippier towards the head of Burn again, and it was glanced by Guimaraes straight into the hands of Caoimhin Kelleher. Well, again, it was Alexis McAllister who was next to Dan Burn.
Yeah, and they know that Alexis McAllister's job solely to block it. That's a really big chance for Guimaraes. He's down him in a flash, in an instant, but he's got his head onto it. You think he's 6 yards out against Liverpool. You're not going to get many better chances like that.
Scored Newcastle United's winner at West Ham on Monday from close range, Bruno Guimaraes. Livramento. Joelinton. Jota has touched it into the path of Livramento, who forces the throw-in from Quansah. There was a foul by Szoboszlai. Been on the fringes of things so far, Dominic Szoboszlai. I thought he looked really re-energised against Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday, one of Liverpool's better performers.
Another chance for Newcastle. Trippier will drift and wander over to take it, and he's tending to hit everything on long, deep crosses. Not maybe it's necessary to score off the first contact, but get it back across goal, in between the goalkeeper and the back line. You see Dan Burn.
And you can see Alexis McAllister standing next to him and looking up at him. Trippier. Van Dijk deals with that one comfortably enough. Joelinton, Cher, away by McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, early on towards Luis Diaz. The headed by Murphy isn't quite strong enough. Goalkeeper committed, gets his head to the ball, so does Cher. And drops for a black and white shirt rather than a red shirt, just as well for Newcastle. Van Dijk impeccable. He's been the player of the match in the last two Liverpool League Cup final victories. Nobody's ever won 3 of those awards. He's made a good start. Quansah. Now Salah. Jarrell Quansah will take it on. 3 red shirts up with him. Joelinton back with him. Really, really good work that by Joelinton. Free kick given.
Cheerleader as well. That's his game all over. Signed as a centre-forward, now a box-to-box midfielder. He's had a real rejuvenation in his career. He's been fantastic over the last couple of years. This is what he's all about. He's been end-to-end for the last couple of minutes. Really did open up. Nick Pope called into action with a decisive act. Joelinton there, he enjoyed that.
Yeah, he's really improved over his 6 seasons with the club, almost in step with the club. $50 million misfit centre-forward who's become a midfield powerhouse. He's in the Brazilian squad for those 2 big World Cup qualifiers coming up, along with Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes and McAllister will meet in Buenos Aires in 10 days' time. Again. Joe Linton using his body to make that difficult for Konate. The referee has stopped play because there's an injury.
3 head injuries in one.
Szoboszlai, I think.
Joe Linton had no real interest in heading the ball, that's why there's the initial collision. Newcastle will be really pleased with how this first half's gone. Look to be positive on the ball and off the ball, and fly in the ointment really is that historically Liverpool come out in this season with a real spring in the step in the second half, and they have to be steeled for that.
This is the first week all season that Liverpool have really had to deal with a major setback. They lost their 4th English Premier League game of the season back in mid-September to Nottingham Forest at Anfield. It was a shock to their system, but they came from behind to beat Milan at San Siro 3 nights later. And they've just kept on winning. Didn't lose a game that truly hurt their main ambitions until last Tuesday against Paris Saint-Germain. But the next match, the next inning, the next quarter after a bad one is always a test for a sports team. There's a handball appeal there by Luis Diaz as Kieran Trippier brought it away from him and under control. Joe Linton to Isak, Robertson sliding in. Forward by Van Dijk. The VAR today, Stuart Atwell has checked that handball appeal and cleared it.
Arguably, arm is up, but it does bounce in front of him, and the natural movement of running is there. That's why it's not given.
If it brushed the fingers, that's all it did. VAR confirming Rob's view that the movement of the arm was natural in the course of running. Jota slipped in towards Luis Diaz. And Trippier's defended that flank pretty well so far.
It's combative, Trippier, and just think the older he gets, the slower the legs get, the more his brain has to work, and hopefully he's got a wonderful footballing brain.
Little nudge there by Tonali on Szoboszlai unseen. Concert forward, Byrne down to Livramento, Barnes. It's nicely guided into the path of Tino Livramento. Back onto his favoured right foot. He's likely to cut inside, but it's towards Isak. It's the natural left foot of Lewis Hall that Newcastle are missing on that side.
It's a whole new combination with Anthony Gordon missing as well, but the run inside from Harvey Barnes gave Livramento that space to get long, and again, you just feel him, Isak on his own up there. He needs another body to get into the middle with him. He's a midfielder up there. It's tough, it's a big pitch, but you've got to get up there and support.
Good use of the ball by Cher again. Livramento once more. His target. Barnes. By Gravenberch. Just wonder if all their exploits in Champions League and forcing their way clear at the top of the English Premier League has taken a little bit of the edge off Liverpool. The sharpness, the brightness, the craft in their play doesn't seem to be quite at the levels, the very high levels they've set this season.
Looking at the players who've played in that, who've made that, they've played pretty much every game. They've been going week in, week out. Look at the guys who need that spark, the centre forwards, the wingers, certainly not firing as they were.
Murphy It's a very hopeful ball into the box. We've had a look at the celebrity Newcastle fans in the house. Steven Gerrard, born and bred Liverpool fan, former Liverpool captain. Knight of the realm, Sir Kenny Dalglish, with their record goal scorer Ian Rush sitting just behind him. If you break records at Liverpool, you're going some, and Ian Rush is the club's leading goal scorer.
Do you think you have to buy his ticket?
They're both connected with the club. They're in official capacity. Steven Gerrard's song, bang on cue, echoing from the Liverpool end. And it's a good one by Van Dijk, but here's Harvey Barnes. And Canate had to get across to him. The ball broke kindly there for Barnes.
Just looking on the right-hand side of your screen, Newcastle and Liverpool players going down. That creates a space for Harvey Barnes. It's a really good touch into that space. Out wide on the left.
Starting a third consecutive game today for only the second time in his 2-year Newcastle career. 18 substitute appearances this season for Barnes tells its own story of frustration. Getting his chance because of Gordon's suspension. Trippier. It's towards Burn again! Well, that has been an accident waiting to happen for Liverpool. Dan Burn is only the tallest man on the field. Liverpool have left him alone again. And Dan Burn gives Newcastle United the lead. It's his first goal for over a year. And Liverpool just didn't deal with him. They had so many warnings. How straightforward was that?
Goal scorer for Newcastle,
Well, it's a sea of black and white. Wembley erupts, and it's a brilliant header from the big man. And it is just a brilliant ball and a wonderful header. The power from the delivery is met by the weight of the header, and it's executed to perfection. This has been something that has been working on all week, something that has been brewing. They're delighted. The 45,000 to our left are in raptures. It's an incredible moment just before half-time.
Dan Burn came to Wembley 25 years ago as a Newcastle United fan. He was born in the vicinity. He was released by the club as an 11-year-old. His heart broken. He returned 18 years later to be a Newcastle United player and to score for them in a cup final is about as good a dream as a Newcastle fan or player could possibly have. His last goal of any description was in January of last year.
As you said, Clive, it's been waiting to happen with Alexis McAllister on him. We never thought that he was going to get the opportunity to get the shot away. It was just going to be one that was helping it back into the box, helping it back into a dangerous area. Well, he proved us wrong.
But Newcastle have led in 6 of their last 12 games against Liverpool, and they have not won any of them.
It's got plenty to ponder at half-time because it's, again, just not been good enough from Liverpool. Haven't really made a glove as such.
Here's McAllister. Mohamed Salah. Isolated with Livramento. Crossed into Luis Diaz. Headed down, Jota. It's just behind him. It was a good connection. Diaz did well to get up and knock it down, but it just bounced behind Diogo Jota.
The first time we've really seen Mo Salah. Great ball in. A really clever knockdown from Diaz. He's done everything he can for Jota. Yes, it's behind him. You just feel a year ago maybe he would have taken that.
Well, it's a special feeling to score a goal at Wembley Stadium, as if I'd know. Dan Burn scored one here before for Yeovil Town in front of 42,000 people in a League One playoff final. That was 12 years ago. I think this one will mean a little bit more to him. The boyhood Newcastle fan who had to wait to become a Newcastle player is the man who has headed Newcastle in front in the 2,000 people in a League One playoff final. That was 12 years ago. I think this one will mean a little bit more to him. The boyhood Newcastle fan who had to wait to become a Newcastle player is the man who has headed Newcastle in front in the 2,000 people in a League One playoff final. That was 12 years ago. I think this one will mean a little bit more to him. The boyhood Newcastle fan who had to wait to become a Newcastle player is the man who has headed Newcastle in front in the break. 9 defeats, just 2 goals scored in those 9 defeats, 5 cup finals, just that Alan Gowling goal that Kate was mentioning, horrible history. Well, they've got a goal, well, they've got the lead, but they haven't got their hands on the trophy yet. Rob Green alongside me. Liverpool have looked flat so far.
Yes, a real hangover. And you feel that the guys talking at half-time, injecting a bit of life. I think you've got to give credit to Newcastle. They were excellent in the first half, on the ball and off the ball, getting bodies forward when they could, being calculated in that. Maybe not as many as they should, but Isak leading in that line. From there, Liverpool, the front line has been so quiet. Yes, they've had control of the ball at times, but very little penetration around that. They've kept Salah quiet. Jota's looked out of sorts. They're going to have to turn something around.
I don't know how much of the first minute he's watched, but Liverpool haven't exactly been assertive.
They started off again, Newcastle, pretty much in a 4-4-2. That changed partway through the first half. Harvey Barnes dropping in, but aggressive off the ball. It's an interesting tactic, forcing Liverpool to go long.
Burn with another thumping header. It's not going to quite go in, that one. But what a story in the week that he has been called into his national team squad for the first time. He had a spell working as a shop worker in a supermarket store, stacking the shelves, dreaming about getting a second chance with Newcastle United. That second chance has come, and boy, is he grabbing it. Talking of grabbing, Quansah on Barnes. Referee says play on.
It's been good for Newcastle because now you see Livramento at the bottom of your screen. He's the left back stepping up onto Quansah, not allowing Liverpool to play out or trying to make it as hard as they can, asking the question.
Van Dijk trying to inject some urgency. He's got Jota on the move here. Diogo Jota, Luis Diaz, and Joel Linton had to get there. Liverpool found a different gear there.
Brilliant from Joel Linton, but it needed to be all of a sudden. Opened up Newcastle.
And it was Van Dijk who stoked the boilers.
Someone doing something different, wasn't it, Clive? He just stepped out of the defence, and we know he can do that. But we see very little of it in the first half. Different pace altogether now.
Canate forward to Luis Diaz. Gravenberch. Luis Diaz allowed to turn. Sweep it out to Salah. Running at Livramento. Jab back to McAllister. Square to Gravenberch. Canate. Lifted in towards McAllister. It's difficult to play a straight pass like that with any real feel or accuracy.
And this was the opportunity. Jota running in behind. It's the first time we've really seen Jota connecting up with anybody in there. Needed Joel Linton at full stretch and at full celebration.
Newcastle's last win over Liverpool was just before Christmas 2015. Gini Wijnaldum was one of their scorers that day, later to join Liverpool. Since then, 17 meetings, 12 Liverpool wins, 5 draws. What a place to turn that tide. No foul. Luis Diaz furious. Murphy forward. Van Dijk away. Murphy once more. Really good first touch. Van Dijk yet again. Quansah. Szoboszlai.
It's got more of a cut-tie feel to it now. Both teams attacking their own fans.
Whereas we saw Liverpool playing quite a lot of square balls in the first half, just happy to try to keep a handle on the game and calm it down, slow it down. Now they've got to try that kind of McAllister pass. And Van Dijk will insist upon it, you can be sure of that. Harvey Barnes. Quansah stuck with him, but it is a corner. Two teams now attacking the ends of this famous stadium where their vocal support is gathered.
This is where I saw the goal coming from. Just looking at that man, and McAllister being given the task, and it looks like they're sticking with it. Liverpool, McAllister's facing him up again, and I mean, once is maybe a surprise, but second time round you're thinking, come on.
It's mystifying, really. Although McAllister didn't get very close to Burn last time. Trippier. And Joe Linton comes round the back and is swept goalwards and in by Alexander Isak, flags up offside. That's not going to count. But Liverpool were once again unable to defend that set piece with any conviction.
This will get overturned. I think he's onside.
Oh, I think this might be a goal.
It's tight, it's so tight. But it's a brilliant save from Kelleher. Isak's there, as good centre-forwards are, for the reaction. He's tried to push it away.
Offside has been given. Well, it has to be the player in front of Kelleher when the shot came in. It's not Isak, it's not the goal scorer. Can't be.
It's round Bruno Guimaraes.
It's there that Guimaraes standing in front of the goalkeeper and unsighting him, affecting his ability to make, well, he made a save, but make the save that he wanted to make.
His arguments to save, as he did, he made that save.
Well, if Newcastle United don't go on to win this final, they'll be talking about that moment for a long, long time to come.
I don't know, the argument being how Kelleher could have done any more there. That's the argument that you would say.
Here's Diogo Jota. Really good challenge by Trippier. He's been revved up for this one, Kieran Trippier. Tino Livramento. Barnes. Livramento. He's found a left-footed cross. Up gets Murphy. Isak! He's the man! He's the man that Newcastle United look to win matches. He may just have won a cup final for them. He scored against Chelsea and against Arsenal on the way to Wembley, and now he scored against Liverpool at Wembley. 23 goals for Newcastle this season. He scored against Liverpool in each of his 3 seasons at Newcastle, but then he scores against everybody. Alexander Isak.
Newcastle are in dreamland. They can't believe it. And it's a brilliant goal. It's a wonderfully worked goal. What a fantastic cross from Livramento, just driving down the left, the give and go from there, standing it up from there. Centre forwards in the right place, in the right time. A centre forwards finish from Isak. Instinctive, whatever you want to call it. It's a wonderful connection. It's a fantastically worked goal from Newcastle. They can start to believe now.
It was sweet. Crisply struck by a man who thundered Newcastle into the lead against Liverpool on Tyneside in December, who scored against them at Anfield in each of his first 2 seasons, and now he scored against them at Wembley. 23 goals in 33 club games, scored the first in the semi-final at Arsenal. Robertson with the cross. What have Liverpool got?
Well, that second goal that arguably got disallowed is long gone in the history of in football now. I think that cross just summed up where Liverpool are. Livramento driving down the left-hand side, put in a perfect cross. Robertson's overhit. They need something, and something fast.
Joe Linton gave it away. Gravenbeck to McAllister. Canate. Van Dijk. Robertson. Robertson's beaten himself, lost his footing. Liverpool will make changes.
Yeah. Desperate times now for Arne Slot. And Liverpool and 2 of his go-to men. 2 men who need to shake off the disappointment of the Champions League penalty shootout. These are wonderful scenes if you are a Newcastle fan now.
Well, I mean, it's difficult to explain or compare the 56-year wait for success in one of the major competitions of English and European football. They've been cup finalists here at Wembley 5 times. They've reached the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup, played in the Champions League. They finished 2nd in the English Premier League. It's a big club with particularly big ambitions now. But those ambitions have been dashed time and time again. Diogo Jota, who just doesn't seem to be back up to speed, will give way to Darwin Nunez, who will be keen to get the saved penalty out of his mind from Tuesday night, as indeed will Curtis Jones, who's going to replace Ibu Konate, and Ryan Gravenbeck will drop back into the back 4. Well, fascinating. The 2 men who had their penalties saved by Gianluigi Donnarumma on Tuesday night are the 2 men that Arne Slot has turned to.
They need to bounce back, and Liverpool needs to bounce back. Gravenberch has played at centre-back before. He's more of a ball playing than Konate, but they're thinking, well, we've got to get on the ball, we've got to play, we've got to go for it now. Jones is playing in the sitting midfielder role. Again, not probably his A1 position, but it's just guys to get on the ball and play and create something for Liverpool.
Just a refuel. Here is Gravenbeck to his fellow countryman Van Dijk. Now his partner at the heart of the defence, but that's wayward even from Van Dijk. Barnes goes down, caught by Quansah. Liverpool treading water, Newcastle United walking on water.
Every decision, every challenge that he's won by Newcastle players now roared on by their fans in front of them. And it grows, and that sort of thing when you're on the pitch, the belief that you get from that as a player, as a team, it just grows and grows and ebbs away at your opposition.
Still the best part of 35 minutes to play, but Newcastle have got Liverpool on the ropes. Can they land a knockout blow from another set piece? Trippier fired in, Van Dijk heads away. Murphy, Cher, offside Guimaraes. Glum faces in a wonderful season, but an awful week so far. Good from Jones. McAllister Luis Diaz. Space here for Dominic Szoboszlai. Turn back for Jones. First save that Post had to make. First intervention into the game from Curtis Jones. Almost changed the temperature of the game.
What a save. What a move from Liverpool. Jones, with the time and space to pick his spot, he just batters it. He just hits it as hard as he can. Nick Pope is a big guy. You see how square he gets, how set he is. He's one of the best shot stopping needed in there.
Both of Newcastle United's main midfield players are down here, having collided Bruno Guimaraes and, more concerningly, Sandro Tonali. There was a collision between the two of them. Not quite sure where Tonali's hurt.
I'm hoping he's just holding his groin, but it's the studs, it's Guimaraes' boots that's gone into him. Words can't describe the pain.
I don't know why we find these kinds of injuries amusing, but let's say Sandro Tonali's not laughing. What it has done is just broken that little moment of momentum for Liverpool.
It was the substitute Jones there in that defensive midfield role that all of a sudden broke through the lines of Newcastle, and something they've been lacking. He arrived for the strike. Arguably should have done better with the shot.
Liverpool fans behind the goal sense that these are big moments in this match. First sign of a Liverpool revival. McAllister with the corner. Van Dijk is there, it's very well defended. Jones. Szoboszlai. Van Dijk has stayed forward here. Luis Diaz. Curtis Jones. Diaz trying to work some shooting space. Jones trying to get Robertson in. Joe Linton has done so much good work in those areas.
It's so alive to the runs. Stan Burns who switches off, I think. Joe Linton's alive to it.
McAllister. Punched by Pope. Gravenbeck to try to keep the heat on. Alexis McAllister. Again, Van Dijk has stayed forward here. Szoboszlai. It's a really good header by Byrne, but it almost came for Darwin Núñez. It was upon him so quickly he couldn't control it.
He just got overloaded for one of the first times Newcastle there. See, switching off there in the middle of the defence, and all of a sudden it's just the luck of the bounce. The way it falls, Núñez fresh on the pitch, not really had a touch, isn't sharp to it.
Well, that's the best couple of minutes Liverpool have had for ages, maybe all afternoon. Trippier. Guimaraes. Murphy. Guimaraes with the outrageous return pass. McAllister, that bounced up awkwardly. Tonali still forward. Ponsa away. Szoboszlai trying to control it for Jones. It's Guimaraes again. It's curled in for Barnes. And Isak! And it's pushed away by Kelleher. No flag, he was onside. Critical save by Caoimhin Kelleher. just about keeping his team in this cup final. Fabian Schär! He just got a bit of a rush of blood there, Schär.
Well, he's kept them in the cup tie. He's kept them in the game as the keeper. He's brilliant again from Newcastle. The runners beyond. Liverpool all at sea. And Isak actually does really well. You're thinking it's not the greatest of contacts from him, but to get himself to twist and to turn and to get up, get something on it. Instinctive from him and instinctive from Kelleher. That's big in the context of the game.
He made 9 saves in last year's final. One extraordinary one from Cole Palmer of Chelsea in the first half. And in no way has Arne Slot's decision to go with Kelleher ahead of Alisson had any impact on this match. Kelleher has been competent. It's just that Newcastle have been much better than Liverpool.
They've turned up, they've come to the party. Liverpool, as of yet, party poopers.
Joelinton down at the moment. And now Isak down. I mean, Liverpool will have their suspicions that Newcastle are trying to take some time out of this game and break the rhythm of the game, but Liverpool have taken their time to find any rhythm at all.
I think they've gone 65 minutes now, and realistically the energy that Newcastle have put in feels a lot higher. There's a lot more enthusiasm about the play on and off the ball, and the runners and the willingness to go beyond, and look at the chances that they're created alone. It's been fantastic for Newcastle.
And some of the true greats of the game have coached Newcastle during their agonising absence from the winner's enclosure. Dan Burns' big moment, followed by that super finish from Isak. But some Liverpool greats, we saw Dalglish before, Sines, Keegan, Benitez, two of the most famous Geordies in football history, Jack Charlton and Sir Bobby Robson, Ruud Gullit, Ozzy Ardiles, all Newcastle managers since the last trophy parade. And now Eddie Howe has his team in the lead and in sight of ending that what has seemed like endless wait. Cody Gakpo for Alexis McAllister is the next change. Gakpo, who scored 5 goals en route to this final for Liverpool, but he played 20 minutes on Tuesday, an hour in 3 substitute appearances in Liverpool's last 7 games, whilst nursing an ankle injury. He didn't look fully fit against Paris Saint-Germain, but they need something from somewhere, and 1 or 2 of the Liverpool players, like McAllister, just seem to have run out of juice.
This is it for Liverpool. This is everything that they've got, I think, in an attacking sense. And Diaz is now in behind Nunez, Gakpo wide on the left. Every attacking player they can think of, bar Chiesa, is on the pitch.
Luis Diaz couldn't control that, and Tonali leads a breakout. Dan Burn is involved in the break. He's got plenty of options here, Tonali. He's found Alexander Isak. Joelinton has gone on, and the pass from Isak was a poor one. So many opportunities for Newcastle there.
Well, there's 6 of them. There's 6 of them on the break, and there's not 6 red shirts who are going to get back for that. You're thinking realistically, each moment that goes by, you can bury Liverpool here. You can put them out the game. You've got to take these opportunities when you can.
Guimaraes. Szoboszlai's fouled him. Eddie Howe having to do a little bit of part-time physio work. I mean, I apologise for all the stats that seem loaded against Newcastle, but Eddie Howe's record against Liverpool, 1 win in 21 games as a manager. I mean, that is what we're seeing here this afternoon. Maybe the ending of a curse. Trippier with the free kick. Schär jumping with Quansah. Gravenberch trying to clear his line. Schär has got it back. It's Harvey Barnes, back towards Fabian Schär. Van Dijk's there again. He's been playing Newcastle on his own at times. One back by Jacob Murphy. Murphy! Liverpool are just hanging on, no more.
Well, they should be out of sight now, Newcastle. This should be a party for the team in black and white. The opportunities they've had in the last few minutes.
But here's Mohamed Salah. Luis Diaz. Van Dijk out to Gakpo. And that's just catching practice for Nick Pope. There's going to be a change to the laws next year, which will hurry goalkeepers along. Not quite sure where this mode for catching the ball and then having a lie down has come from. Didn't happen in your day, that really, did it?
Oh, lay down as often as possible. The lack of movement in that cross there, it came in from Liverpool just off the ball. It was so flat.
And I mean, Gravenberch's brain knew what he wanted to do there, but his legs just wouldn't take him. But do they care? Why should they? All the triumphs that their opposite numbers at the other end of Wembley have been able to celebrate during this eternal wait for a day like this.
They're still staying high, Newcastle, in their shape. They're still pressing on the ball. They're still charging like Joel Linton.
He's not going to sleep tonight. We're talking about player of the match candidates. Joel Linton's right up there. They'll be able to fly to Brazil to join up with the squad next week without the need for an aeroplane. Guimaraes, foul by Szoboszlai. Guimaraes wants some treatment.
They've been fantastic in this midfield, haven't they? Guimaraes, Joel Linton and Tonali. It's asked a lot of them in the shape that they've had. We were talking maybe they were going to change it before the game. Solid up, become a bit more short in that midfield. No, they've gone for it. It's demanded everything of them and they've given it today, that three.
Liverpool are turning to two of their French players, Harvey Elliott and Federico Chiesa, are imminent. Trippier with the free kick, cut out by Robertson. Luis Diaz just tries to flick it back into Robertson's path. Liverpool have lost their mojo here. Chiesa has had so few opportunities since joining the club, but he's had some good moments here at Wembley, but he hasn't figured for 5 weeks as a Liverpool player. Gakpo. Trippier's in there again with another shot challenge. Darwin Núñez. Bronson. That's too much for Gakpo. Harvey Elliott, 11 days on from his heroics in Paris, will come on, and so will Chiesa, who's actually scored twice here for Italy in the European Championship finals of 3 years ago. Gravenberch's gone off now. Goodness knows who's going to play in the Liverpool back four. I think Quansah is going to tuck in alongside Van Dijk, and Luis Diaz is the man to make way for Harvey Elliott, who actually played every minute of last year's final.
quite worked out who's playing right back. At the minute, Liverpool, it looked like a back three with Robertson as the third centre-half. Very lopsided back three. Harvey Barnes on this left-hand side for Newcastle has got the whole space of half the pitch.
I think that would make Mohamed Salah the right wing-back, but I'm not sure anybody's told him or convinced him. And Liverpool have just got to come up with something, anything. Just get a foothold in this game. They've been overrun by Newcastle as much as anything. Liverpool have just been unable to match the vim and vigour of the Newcastle performance. Elliott has come to this right-hand side now. Szoboszlai. Gakpo. Dominic Szoboszlai. Jarrell Quansah. Mohamed Salah. Corner kick.
Well, this is it for Liverpool. This is everything they have out on the pitch in an attacking sense. They got nothing left. Looking at Van Dijk and Quansah just to be at the back when they can, and everybody else go for it.
Van Dijk and Quansah are in the Newcastle penalty area at the moment. Harvey Elliott will take the corner. Punched by Pope off the head of Gakpo. Szoboszlai first to it. Liverpool throw. Andy Robertson. Tossed in by Szoboszlai. Came off a Newcastle head, and then Livramento the second. Elliott. Chiesa. Turned away by Cher very bravely. Looked like a handball by Guimaraes, but the referee had a good view and said no. And Barnes frees Isak. And Robertson's done well to keep pace with Alexander Isak.
Isak just pulled up there. Whether it's just tired or just a hamstring, I'm not quite sure, but he certainly couldn't go at full speed. You thought he was in. I thought that was it for Newcastle.
Van Dijk. Salah. Peripheral figure so far, but not the only one in red. Geordie voices echoing around Wembley. Cody Gakpo. Dominic Szoboszlai. Andy Robertson had to be crossed in. Wonderful charge down by Jacob Murphy. Robertson, flick on by Chiesa, turned away by Livramento, headed away by Trippier. Jarrell Quansah. Back out towards Gakpo. Liverpool trying to find an angle for a cross. Chiesa. Foul by Guimaraes, free kick.
And they're now camped in Newcastle. They're all the edge of the box, and they're allowing Liverpool the width. They're just heavily condensed around, and Guimaraes is trying to get out when he can, and he just can't get out there in time. But these are big moments for Newcastle. Still time in this for Liverpool. They've got to create something, which they haven't done so far.
The big moments when you haven't won a trophy since 1969. Szoboszlai. Terrific header by Byrne. Robertson. Back in towards Nunez. This is Chiesa. Cody Gakpo. Van Dijk is still in there. Elliott. Szoboszlai. They haven't found a cross for Virgil van Dijk. Szoboszlai lost the ball, won it back. Elliott. Jones. Salah. Elliott. Steered into Chiesa. Knocked off the ball by Cher. Far more determined.
Sharp of a penalty from Virgil van Dijk. So there's going to be enough in it to be given. So, an arm across him as he tries to get a run in, but just see the last Liverpool player closest to the goal.
There he goes to ground.
Yeah.
Is there enough contact?
Throws himself as much as anything, Clive, I think.
And it's Kieran Trippier who's the defender. It's been cleared. Elliott, headed by Byrne again. Salah. Robertson, sing your hearts out for the lads is the Newcastle song. Away those lads, so close now to the breakthrough. But here's Jones. Well, he had space to steady himself. A little bit more time than he realised.
Well, he's had a couple of chances as well now. So, pulled up earlier. Tried to get the run through, and you think he's raced his run.
Eddie Howe's one of the names. Cardiff when Sir Gareth Southgate stepped down as England manager last year. He looks 27, but he is 47. And 17 of those years in club management. He's one of the nice guys. A success at a lower level. His CV would be elevated significantly by a good result today, and he is inside of that result. Isak added the second. In the way Isak does.
Well, they needed to deliver, Newcastle. Their big players needed to come today. He certainly has. One of the guys that Liverpool look to and think, we hope he's not playing, he can hurt us. He has done that today.
Callum Wilson comes on in his place. And Bruno Guimaraes can go and wash his hands and get ready to collect a trophy because he's being replaced by Joe Willock. Harvey Barnes is going off too.
Joe Willock is certainly not the attacking force of Harvey Barnes, but playing out on this left-hand side. He's done it before for Newcastle. Callum Wilson will be up front on his own. Willock will certainly give him the energy, saying about staying narrow, needing players to come out to address the ball. He's got that in droves.
I mean, it does happen in sport. The Red Sox waited 86 years, was it? The curse of the Bambino. The Cleveland Browns' wait goes back to the 1960s too, 1964, I think. Even the Golden State Warriors had to wait 40 years for their golden age. It just happens. Joe Linton. But the longer it happens, the harder it is to stop it happening. And Newcastle will have to clear their minds of doubt and concentrate for these final 10 minutes or so. They've been ambushed by Liverpool too many times. Tonali. Why not?
Liverpool just can't get out their half now. They've got no structure to the play. They've just got players on the pitch. They're anywhere. They're throwing it anywhere. They're losing it everywhere.
Livramento. Tino Livramento hit against Curtis Jones and ball appeals. They've only travelled about a yard, but it is a corner.
All over in Newcastle, and Liverpool are looking more and more desperate as the time goes on. You can have all the attacking players on the pitch that you want, but getting it up the pitch is the problem that they've got right now.
Corner kick down in front of the 40,000 travelling Newcastle fans. Trippier. Headed by Jones. Back in there by Willock. It'll come for Callum Wilson. Maybe fittingly, the Beatles get back to where you once belonged, was top of the Billboard charts. And Newcastle last won a major trophy in the June of 1969. Apollo 11 was still on the launch pad. It'd be another month before Neil Armstrong took his giant leap. Newcastle United have been waiting for theirs ever since they won the Intercities Fairs Cup. 30 other clubs have won major trophies in English football since 1969. It's run away from Robertson. Nobody needs to chase that. It's just a question of keeping Liverpool out. Gakpo. Turned away by Byrne. And the free kick goes Newcastle United's way.
Now into counting down the seconds now for Newcastle. They'll be on the pitch, they'll be talking to each other. We're seeing through maybe 4, maybe 5 more waves of attack from Liverpool. That's it.
The average attendance is 52,000. They could sell more tickets at St James's. They're talking about extending the ground. Anthony Gordon forcing a smile. Must be frustrating to be suspended on a day like this, but he's played his part in getting Newcastle United to this final. Liverpool free kick. Just no sign of a comeback. Just doesn't look as if Liverpool have got anything left to give. 9 more games to the Premier League title. They'll have to rouse themselves to make sure. Their lead has been cut to 12 points today by an Arsenal victory, but on 2 massive occasions this week, they come up against 2 very good teams and haven't quite been able to find enough to match them.
Cup finals are all about turning up with your performance and game plan and executing it, ignoring the noise around. And I have to say there's stark contrast here today. Newcastle have executed theirs and turned up to a man.
Curtis Jones though. Harvey Elliott. Terrific effort again by Joe Linton, doing the work of 3 defenders. Van Dijk. Gakpo. All the way back to Szoboszlai. Quansah. Van Dijk was forward, but the cross is a really tight one. And Nick Pope can hold on and see away some more precious seconds. Game number 47 of his season, his first season in English football. And it just looked like a bridge too far today.
The questions will be about Liverpool, the use of the players, playing all of the players pretty much against this weak Southampton team in the league, leading up into games against PSG, against Newcastle in the cup final. Those questions will be posed, but you have to say today is all about Newcastle United.
Jones. There just hasn't been a single period of this game when Newcastle have not been better than Liverpool. It's only 2-0. It actually barely does justice to their superiority. Elliott. In towards Jones. And bounces beyond Salah. And bounces away from Salah. And even the magic man doesn't have a potion today.
It's been quiet. They've all been quiet in an attacking sense. Liverpool, there's some tired bodies out there now in black and white shirts. I'm not sure they're entirely fast. Between them, just hobble up to the halfway line and see out the seconds now.
I mean, Arsenal is way ahead of schedule for the expectations of Liverpool at the start of this season. And that isn't going to make this day or these feelings any easier. Jacob Murphy, the Wembley boy, Royal Limpoff, Sean Longstaff, who himself was born almost within sight of St James's Park up in the northeast, will come on in his place. And Murphy doesn't want to go. Why would you? I'm all right, boss.
The way he's walking, he's not.
Nick Pope has been shown a yellow card for time wasting. I mean, Jason Tyndall's seeing his duties. I think the message for Sean Longstaff could probably be transmitted without an iPad right now. Murphy goes. Longstaff gets his briefing. Don't do anything stupid, is what he's written on the iPad. And what a night we're going to have. If you've ever been out for a night in Newcastle, you'll know. It will be quite a night there tonight and for a few nights to come. Elliott. Just too strong in every department. 8 minutes of torture, really, for Liverpool.
Newcastle have slipped to a back five, but it doesn't change anything. They've been comfortable, they've been confident, whatever shape they've played this afternoon. It's been a wonderful performance by them. I think you're right, Clive, that the two has been a disservice to them. The criticism that you could put, the only one you could put in Newcastle is it should be more.
Well, they've had a goal disallowed rather controversially. And you can see the anxious faces of the Newcastle fans, and you can understand it. You've waited so long for something. But here's Callum Wilson with a chance to take those doubts away. Waited for a moment which not your dad or your mum told you about, but your granddad or your grandmum told you about. It's been that long. 70 years since they won a trophy here in England. You're allowed to worry. Elliott. Trippier away. Guimaraes. Just pushed over by a very weary Cody Gakpo.
There's nothing now. There's nothing from Liverpool. The ball from Elliott was aimless. The hope that they really had has been aimless at all, and these guys just starting to believe.
Starting to dare to believe. Willock. He couldn't quite find a cross under pressure from Quansah. Still professional to the very end. I know him reasonably well. He is conscientious, almost to a fault. But that boyish smile will break out across his face quite soon. And when he gets home tonight, if he gets home tonight, the satisfaction will be deep. All of those great names who've been unable to bring success to the great football club that is Newcastle United. Elliott in towards Van Dijk. It's a shot by Gakpo. It's a chance for Darwin Núñez. Chiesa's there. Fresh air shot. Newcastle got bodies on the line. Kept Liverpool out. Joe Linton. Trippier's Guimaraes still going, but has lost out here to Elliott. And here's Chiesa. Oh, hello. No flags up. He's offside, it's not going to count. Federico Chiesa puts his hands to his head and just wonders and hopes.
Well, this is tight.
Whoa, this might count.
This will count. This is tight. as you like. It's a lean of a body, it's a heel. It's now impossible to tell. There was arguments before in the build-up. Núñez handballed it, that got looked over, the ball broke away, then it shouts over a foul over Guimaraes. And now this.
He scored 1 goal for Liverpool against Accrington Stanley. He scored twice here for Italy in a major championship. He's had precious few opportunities to do anything for Liverpool.
It's not one for the naked eye. There is onside.
The verdict is he is onside. They're just checking 1 or 2 other incidents in the build-up to the goal. I mean, they're looking further back in the move now. As I say, the video assistant referees looking to see if this is a foul. It's not.
This is fine. Talking earlier about a handball, talking earlier in the penalty area of a foul on a Newcastle player, but then going back into the ages of history of football in terms of VAR.
It's goal's going to count. I told you it might be a long afternoon. It's not quite over.
After review, the Liverpool number 14 is onside, and the final decision is a goal.
It took a while, but Liverpool had scored. It took a while after they scored. Well, I've no idea how long there is left. We've played 5 added minutes, 5 of 8, but there's got to be at least another couple added to that. And Federico Chiesa has given Liverpool just a glimpse of some kind of escape. And Virgil van Dijk is lining up on the halfway line to go and be a striker for whatever time there is left.
Well, these moments will feel like an eternity now for Newcastle fans. Liverpool fans have started to leave. Thousands of them have left the stadium. May just be returning to their seats.
I've just heard the VAR advise the referee out in the middle. That all took about 3 minutes. Just in case you haven't quite kept track of everything, it's Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1. Newcastle have the ball in the part of the Wembley Stadium where they want it.
Liverpool have Virgil van Dijk up front now. He's the sole striker, they've just got to get it up to him.
Newcastle have a throw in. Little victories. Well, it had to be this way with Newcastle United. It had to be a drama. Federico Chiesa has been shown a yellow card for dissent. Liverpool have got a free kick for shirt pulling. Guimaraes kicked the ball away. He's not going to get another yellow card. Kelleher can launch it long towards the head of Van Dijk. Brilliant jump that by Fabian Schär. Here's Tonali. Van Dijk chasing back. How many Van Dijks are there on the field? Wilson just wants to get it in the corner and keep it in the corner. Corner kick. Roar from the throats of the Newcastle fans as if they've scored again.
Well, there's a chest bump in there, there's celebrations everywhere. It's a real test of nerve now for these fans. They've looked so comfortable all afternoon. They're taking bookings, they'll do anything.
The referee's not buying that, sorry. Oh, your laces have come undone, have they? Yeah, we'll have a yellow card. That's time wasting. Oh, football, eh? It's not a high-scoring sport. It's not easy to get 20 points clear in a football match. Newcastle United, if you were scoring this as a boxing judge, might just be 20 points clear. But it's one goal that Liverpool have got to find. This is where Newcastle want to keep it. Trying to win another corner kick. Tonali. He's far away out to Longstaff. Liverpool have got it. Took them a while to get it, and they've got it. Szoboszlai. Up towards Mohamed Salah. On towards Van Dijk. Another good leap by Cher. Joe Linton forward. Wilson looked offside to me, but the flag stayed down. He's going to try and keep it again. Szoboszlai has robbed him. Elliott. Joe Linton has taken out Elliott off the ball. The referee's got to have eyes in the back of his head at the moment. There's all sorts of things going on. There was just a block there, an NFL block by Joe Linton on Elliott.
He's on the edge, Joe Linton, he plays on the edge. Elliott takes the brunt of it. Does everything he can to block him off.
Yeah,
with the shirt rather than a swing of the arm, I think.
I'm not sure he'd get away with that in the NFL. Oh, wow. Why did I take this job? Substituted players wait and hope. Kelleher tosses it forward. Van Dijk heads it on. Joe Linton heads it away. No more talk of 1969. 2025 is the year of Newcastle United's last major trophy. They have won the Carabao Cup. The long wait is over. Eddie Howe has succeeded where 20 and more managers before him couldn't. One of the most famous names in football is about to be carved onto precious silverware again. Newcastle United are winners once more. Winners at Wembley. Winners in England for the first time in 70 years. 3 generations of Newcastle United fans will celebrate this triumph as the first they can remember. And they can celebrate. Newcastle is one of those special cities, just a little bit different from any other in England or anywhere. A party town with a reason to party. Newcastle United